What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Evil Dead franchise review series I'm doing here on the channel. And today we're going to talk about Evil Dead Rise. Finally, my review for the newest release in the Evil Dead franchise. I'm sorry this is so late. I've been working on these videos extensively. I've been so wrapped up in what I'm doing, but if you are new here, if you wouldn't mind checking out the other reviews in the Evil Dead franchise that I have uploaded to the channel, I would really appreciate it. And while you're here, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like and subbing to the channel for more horror reviews and franchise reviews, gaming reviews, podcast streams, you name it, will be here on the channel. So if you please would do all that, and hopefully you'll come back and see us. And with that being said, let's talk about Evil Dead Rise. So I'm about a week out from watching this movie, so my memory is spotty. So I might forget a thing or two, like something I might fail to mention, but I do remember a lot about this film because this is arguably one of my favorites in the entire franchise. No bullshit. Like besides the first one, I think this one's a close second. And if you ask me tomorrow, I put Evil Dead Rise over the original Evil Dead. I love this movie. This movie was great from start to finish. The pacing was fantastic. The story was good. It was engaging. Even the slower moments in the beginning of the film really had me entertained. Even it was like, I guess, the slower part of the movie, but I was invested in these characters that when shit started to hit the fan, it really it made the movie that much better, especially when you start seeing all the chaos ensue. This movie feels different to me. Like this movie feels very Evil Dead, but it feels different in a sense that there's a lot of tropes that the Evil Dead has done since really pretty much the first one, and it still has some of that here, but with a different kind of twist to it. This movie is definitely more sinister. It has more of a serious tone, but it's not as serious as 2013's Evil Dead. That movie was fucked up, and I got a review for that, so definitely check that one out as well. This one, man, I don't know. Like, I like the Deadites better. You know, like the mother, right? We know here, this the premise of the film. You have this family. They live in a rundown apartment building. It's honestly about to be just pretty much about to bulldoze that shit. They pretty much tell them they got to get out. And it's pretty much like the couple weeks before they have to move out, and the mother's packing, and she goes to wash some laundry. All of a sudden, a deadite comes and possesses her, and the reason why the deadite is there is because her son finds the Book of the Dead underneath the building in the parking garage, finds it, brings it up there, opens it up, plays the recording that was with the book, and boom, just like most of these movies, it's one incantation, and then all evil ensues. This movie is no different when it comes to that, and I did like that. At this point, I'm 5 movies in. I know what the Evil Dead franchise can give me, and honestly, I expected Book of the Dead. I expected someone to read an incantation not supposed to, and I expected the Deadites to come up from the earth. And if I didn't get any 3 of those things, 0 out of 10. But yeah, so evil ensues, and the Deadite possesses the mother. Pretty much kills her instantaneously when the demon possesses her, and that's pretty much where the movie starts. Really starts getting like very detrimental and dangerous at that point. And let me just say, the actress that plays the mother, she did a damn good job in this movie. She was scary. She was super frightening. There's a sequence where the mother is outside the apartment building, and they show this in the trailer, so this isn't like too spoilery, but I wish they wouldn't have showed it in the trailer now. But she's outside, and the daughter goes into the keyhole, and you see the mother, and she's looking up at the keyhole and smiling and shit, and it's so damn creepy. And she's telling her to unlock the door. And in this particular scene, I don't want to spoil the whole movie, but the movie also too has been out for a little while. But as the little girl goes to turn the lock, the mother's still looking through the keyhole, like smiling and shit, and she's like, "That's it." And it's like, no, please don't open the fucking door. Like that was me like the whole time, and I was like, this is a good horror film because it was just so much fun. I mean, I don't get scared in many movies like horror movies. I love horror movies, but I never really get scared of them. Uh, but it was so intense, and I had to laugh because I was having so much fun watching a movie because you can that's why like these films, if you can have fun, that's when that's when you know they nailed it. uh but yeah, so that part was super intense. I love the Ash of this movie, the aunt who finds out she's pregnant. I thought she was pretty badass, especially at the end with the chainsaw. You gotta have a chainsaw in these movies. If you don't, again, 0 out of 10. uh and yeah, super super bloody. Again, I don't want to go too far into it, but this movie just felt different. It felt modern, but also had like this very old school style about it. By the way, that intro went so fucking hard. I'm sure I'll have a picture up here, but the intro where you have the Deadite coming out the water, and then it says "Evil Dead Rise." I don't know if it's a sunset or sun. I don't know what time of day it is. I'm assuming sunset, and you see Evil Dead Rise over the mountains, and I thought that was so sick. This movie is really really good. There's really not really much more for me to say. I loved everything about it. I thought the gore was good. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I expected the gore to be way more visceral and way more in depth, and it wasn't. And that's not really a negative. I was just expecting, like, there was a scene, and they show it in the trailer, but there's a scene that involves a cheese grater, and I was expecting that shit to be way worse than it was. And I'm wrong. It's bad, but it's not. It's really not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I was expecting it to be way more. I keep saying the word. I feel like I'm saying the word grotesque a lot today, but I thought it was going to be way more involved, and it was just more of a very like, okay, it's there, you see it, and then it just cuts away. Um, but yeah, I don't really have any negatives. The only thing that really stands out to me, and I was watching somebody review this movie. It's a channel called We Watched a Movie. I've talked about them on the show before, but they were talking about in their review that they kind of had a hard time. They enjoyed the movie. They thought it was great, but they had a hard time watching it because in the movie there's a lot of kids involved in this situation. Because in the other Evil Dead movies, you have people that are older. Like you might have like you know early 20s, mid 20s, something like that. But you never had like children, like pretty much over around the ages of 10 or something like that. And there's a few children that are involved in this, at least young teens that are involved in this situation. And some of the scenes that involves them is really rough. Like some of the stuff that the Deadite is saying to them, um, just like the situations they're put in. I don't want to go too far into what happens to any of them, but some of the stuff that happens is like, what, it's kind of like, damn, like they're not holding back when it comes to like nobody's safe in this movie, including children. And usually children is a no go when it comes to horror films. So it's kind of crazy they push those boundaries a bit, and I dug it for it, to be honest with you. Yeah, I mean there was a couple situations where it's like, whoa, like the youngest daughter, and with the whole keyhole situation, I really cared about her because she's just so young. She could have been no more than like 7 or 8 years old. So obviously this is such a situation that's super traumatic to her. So I was really caring for that particular character. But yeah, it surprised me. They've kind of pushed those bounds, and they did push it quite a bit. But I dug it. So, but yeah, look, all in all, I plan to do a ranking video of each one of these movies at some point. I'll probably go into a little bit more of reasons why I rank it the way I do. But I think all in all, that's all I got to say about it. Listen, I really, really, really like this movie. I've liked all 5 of these movies. But Evil Dead Rise, I think, is a step above most of them. And maybe even above the first one for me. I really enjoyed this movie. I had such a good time with it. I liked the characters. I liked it being more centered in an apartment. Right? Just I was gonna say like an apartment building, yes, but mostly in the apartment itself. That's where most of the conflict is, and I just thought that was really really good. It really set the scene. Like you have the cabin in the original movie, and in this movie is the apartment, and the apartment looks real dreary and it looks damp and dark, and then having the Deadite in there with them just made it 10 times more freakier. So I really really liked it, man, and I loved the setting, and it was good. It was damn good. Honestly, I've tried not to give too many ratings, but I gotta give this. It would be like a 9 out of 10 for me if I was rating the movie. I really wouldn't find much wrong with it. Maybe a point for the whole kid statement. Not really. That's more of just that's a subjective thing. I'm not even saying I agree with that. It was weird seeing children involved in this shit, but I wouldn't say that would be something I would dock a point for. So really, it's damn near perfect. I could probably nitpick, but it's really, really good. And by the way, there's a good Ash Williams cameo too that I didn't realize till after watching the movie. That's really, really cool. It's nothing big. You'll miss it if you just kind of look away or you just turn your brain off for a second. But it's really effective and I like it. So anyway, with that being said, that's my review for Evil Dead Rise. What are your thoughts on Evil Dead Rise and the Evil Dead franchise as a whole? I plan to do a series overview, like a series ranking video, because I just don't want to give up this series yet. I really enjoy this franchise, and so I want to do as many videos as I can. And like I said, I'm still behind. I'm still working on I'm still working on all my videos right now. I'm just trying to film them all so I can work on them all separately. But anyway, let me know what your guys' thoughts and opinions down below. And yeah, be ready for my Evil Dead ranking video coming hopefully within the next few days, but we'll see. But anyway, with that being said, we'll see you in the next video. Stay dead, my friends.